get into are the ones with the loft. I have to bring you in here, and that's only because, I don't want people hopping in constantly like, because they do that shit. Well, people would just want to mess with you, I mean, that's just the way it is. I get it.
Oh yeah, the trolls, man, the trolls. They're looking for the pot of gold.
Oh hell yeah, and they got a little jewel in the belly button and that fucked up hair.
That's straight up 90s right there. Sometimes when I'm teaching my class, if I were to even show a picture of the trolls, they would have no idea what that was, and they would probably think I was crazy.
Oh, I'm sure. They made the movie Trolls, and they tried, but I mean, it's just not the same.
No, not at all.
Not even close. I mean,
yeah. Well, I've watched that one over and over and over again because I have two kids, so I could probably, which I'm not going to do, by the way, repeat most of the lines in the movie. So.
Oh yeah, trust me. My wife in Moana and what's the other one? Mulan. Which, don't get me wrong, I like the original Mulan. Can't go wrong with the original.
No, that's a good history lesson there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is I don't know. It's I guess one of the last movies where Disney actually scored a movie, as far as like paying a composer to do music for a movie. They don't write their own music for that stuff anymore. Now they just like steal songs from musicians. They just, hey, can we pay you to use your songs? It's not like you brought in Phil Collins to score an entire musical number for the film itself, or like Elton John and them did with The Lion King. And you know what I mean? You just don't hear people like Hans Zimmer and stuff, like these musicians who composed music for movies. It's just not such a big deal anymore.
Yeah, I think that's, I know for me growing up in a whole Disney, franchise, I mean, that was huge part of Disney, was exactly what you're talking about. But now everything's about how efficient, effective can we make this movie? Right. And it's much easier just to make a soundtrack now from an artist or, transfer songs versus actually build a musical white paper,
Yeah.
For the actual movie itself. So things have changed a lot.
Yeah, which, I mean, I guess it is probably cheaper just to pay somebody for their song that they've already made than paying a composer or a musician to do a body of work like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it might be cheaper, but honestly, I don't know if people are creative enough these days to compose and come up with that much new music in that amount of time.
No,
I mean, I'm sure that has to be kind of stressful, wouldn't you think? Like you literally have a time crunch.
Oh yeah. I just think the world right now just views everything as what's the easiest route that we can take. I mean, I can't even speak to that. I mean, I was in band in I think 6th and 7th grade. Mm-hmm. I played the trombone way back in the day, and actually a little bit of violin. But I mean, I can only guess how incredibly hard that would be to actually compose a white paper for a movie. And, with all the different effects and transitions and scenes, all that stuff has to match. I mean, right. I can imagine that could be pretty challenging.
Yeah, it'd be a nightmare. I mean, really, it could be a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like those studio musicians. They've been on 100 albums, but nobody can tell you their name, but they know all the songs. They've played them. You've listened to them 1,000 times, but you have no idea who they are because they're a studio musician. They're playing music for somebody else who's recording an album.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like Jason Segel from Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Right. Yeah, he does it.
Everybody knew his music.
Right.
But nobody knew who he was and that he was dating her.
Yep. Very much so.
There's my 2 minutes of fame. Going back
10 seconds.
Yeah, it's 10 seconds. He's back to the duty.
It felt like 2 minutes. It felt like a lifetime.
I feel you, bro. I feel you. Like I
You
said,
actually scared me when you chimed in right there. I didn't know what the heck was going on. So what's been going on, man? How was this week for you? Any new stuff going on?
not really. We had a we had a loss in the family this week. We had a possum kill one of the chickens in the backyard the other day.
Oh, they're always on a hunt, you know.
Supposedly, this frost has made it difficult for farmers around here to get baby chicks and hatchlings. Didn't think that was a thing, that it would affect that to that scale. I figured these people were hatching their own or doing, locally, but I guess, companies like Tractor Supply, you got to think every one of them places are getting tons of chickens. Like, they sell a ton of chickens. They really do, and it's weird. But if you had a contract with them, it probably would be, that's a lot of birds. You'd have to have giant factories and plants like that to meet those quotas. You couldn't have small independent farms just having yard birds and meet quota. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I never really thought of that and how it would impact, my local area, considering, because Augusta's a pretty rural area. I mean, you go 15, 20 minutes, you're in the country, man. I mean, it's not like it's that crazy. So we went out to Hepzibah to the Mennonite farm and picked up two chickens, but he didn't even have any. That's the funny part. We got there and the guy was telling me about, this frost and stuff and how it's messed up the birds. Nobody's got birds, and I mean, that was my second farm I had gone to. Because we have one very depressed chicken right now. It's depressing. We'll get to that after I finish this. The guy pulls up with a truck. in the back, he's got a dog box full of nothing but like assorted hens. They're adolescent birds, probably about maybe 2 months, 3 months old. And the guy calls me back and it's like, dude, you interested? I was like, yeah, I'll grab two of them. So I grabbed two of them and threw them in a cage, and they're in the pen outside right now. But it was just like, man, this is the craziest thing. We've been all over the place looking for two chickens. Can't find chickens. Nobody's got chickens. This guy ain't got chickens. We're about to walk out the door, and a guy pulls up with chickens. So I got two birds, and it's just meant to be. I mean...
Oh yeah, that's one thing I really don't know. I don't know a lot about, with farming, chicken farming.
Hey,
so
it's a learning curve for us all, my friend. The one thing I can tell that my neighbors are wanting to get some chickens, and I told them the one thing I can tell you about chickens is that they're gonna die. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm being honest. I mean, you can keep them and give them the best life you can give them. They ain't gonna live like a dog or a cat. They're not like normal birds. Like, you get a parakeet or something, he could live 10, 20 years. It's not going to happen with a chicken. I mean, at best, I think some of the ones we had was like 7, 8 years. At best. We had a Rhode Island Red, and I think she made it like 6, 7 years. We started with 4, we're down to 1, and we've had them 2 years.
Yeah, so the life expectancy, you say, is around 7 years?
Well, no. I'm saying that's at best.
Oh, okay. So that's like the best case scenario. So really, every 2 to 3 years, you're looking to re-up.
I mean, okay. I know this sounds kind of harsh, but the last guy I talked to at this chicken farm or whatnot, he basically told me if you don't have dead birds, you're not raising birds. And I know that sounds really weird or really harsh, but it's just because they're freaking birds, man. I don't know how to explain it. They're dumb. I mean, we've had like dads. They ate a big old block of styrofoam we shot archery into, and like one of them died. And it's like, why would you sit there and eat like a whole bunch of styrofoam? I had to move a pot holder from outside last year because Clucker kept eating the paint chips off of it. And I'm like, why are you eating paint chips, you doober? And like, I'd move it over here and she'd go get it. I'd move it up on the table. She'd hop on the table and eat paint chips. So I had to like remove it from the yard or she wouldn't stop eating paint chips.
Oh man, so that's an IQ of like 60
Yeah, don't
or
expect
30.
them. Don't expect them to be a.
Oh God.
They ain't gonna dazzle you. Okay, like if you get
Oh,
enough of them, you can lead them. You can lead them anywhere by just taking off running. Chickens have like an innate like. If they see someone following, like running, like they'll just start following them. Like you can lead a whole herd of chickens by just running. It's crazy. Let's see. What's the
I,
average
was-
expectancy of
I
chicken?
used to always wonder why chickens chased me.
Right. Here we go. Chicken lifespan. Yeah, because you think they're not chasing you, they're following you. That's how simple they are. You're leading the way, so they think you're going to food or something else. Like they think you have something that they want. It's funny. Chicken has an average lifespan of about 3 to 5 years. Although some
Oh,
may
it's
live
actually lower than
longer.
7.
Yeah, that's why I said at best. I think we had one live about 7 years. Although some live longer, the American Livestock Breeds Conservancy states that meat chickens can be processed when they mature, anytime age 5 to 12 months, depending on the breed. So that's what I mean. Depending on the breed, the bird is mature between 5 to 12 months. You're considered a grown adult from hatch to, within 5 months for some of these things.
Man, I had no idea.
Right. Here we
Like
go.
my
How long
my
can your backyard hens last? It says, with proper protection from predators and medical care, you can expect 7 to 8 years, but on normal 5-year lifespan. Didn't mean to cut you off, but there's your
No, you're good.
7 to 8 with proper care, protection, and food and shit. They can make it 7 to 8 years, but that's what I mean. It's not a dog. It's not a cat. It's like a goldfish that lives in your yard. How about
That's a good. That's actually a good analogy. I mean, my older sister's boyfriend, he raises chickens. He lives out there in McDuffie County.
Yeah.
And he has a good amount of chickens as well. And I go get eggs when I can when I come to Augusta. But I learned a little bit that and black snakes and all that type stuff that you have to watch out for.
Well, yeah. I mean, we had a big old black snake in the yard last year, and I haven't seen him since, but he didn't want chicken. He wanted the eggs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's all he wanted when I found him in the nesting box, and he had 3 eggs in him. And the chickens were all standing there at the nesting box looking at it, raising hell, and I'm like, what's wrong, girls? Like, what's going on? Like,
I'm back.
From outer space.
This time I've got 2 suitcases.
What? Oh, shit.
Dude, I've had phone calls, been getting murked off in COD, been winning in COD. Well, not winning, but winning gun battles in COD.
I've been winning parts of COD.
Yeah, well, I'm playing with my former brother-in-law, and so I'm in a PC lobby, dude, and they are so sweaty in PC lobbies.
Yeah, they are. I got it on PC. It's sweat.
He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, dude, in pregame lobby, I had a dude trying to shoot me out of the sky, and I tried to pull my parachute so I like break away from it and splat so he would stop. And I was too low, so I just landed. So I ran into a garage. The dude chases, like runs after me, full bore, pulls his pistol out, slides in, shoots me, and just takes off barreling out of there, like throwing Molotovs at me. I'm like, dude, it's pregame lobby. You get literally nothing for this.
He's getting fired up, man. He's getting in the fucking zone. Not now, Chief. I'm trying to get in the zone.
So sweaty. And I'm still winning gun battles, dude. He's like, oh, you get too much aim assist with your controller. And I'm like, dude, these PC guys, I mean, they're not missing a shot.
Well, you got to have aim assist with the controller. My God.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. He's like, oh, you got an advantage. I'm like, no, I don't, dude. Like, you got the advantage. No.
I still think mouse and keyboard has the advantage in a gunfight. I think overall movement and like maneuverability around the map, I go to the controller. But when it comes to a gunfight, I give it to the keyboard.
Yes. I mean, you just gently slide your mouse down and you don't miss shots.
Right.
Dude, there's
But it's so much easier for me to stay on target with a full automatic weapon. All I have to do is hold the trigger down and just pull slowly down on the mouse, and it fights recoil. Where, as we're trying to find that with your thumb, it's a little bit different to find that happy medium.
But I did get some new sticks. My cheap white ones finally crapped fully out on me again.
Yeah.
The second set, because D gave me his. And it's just too much playing this much COD on them. For the left analog stick, it starts, like, I was playing Civilization, and it was just clicking on random selections. Like, I'd move an army somewhere, and it would send them clear across the map because it just took off doing whatever it wanted.
That sounds about
and
right.
So I went and I wanted the Elite. Like, I wanted the Elite bad. But nobody has them. Nobody has the Elites anywhere. Nowhere. Like, tried to order them from Microsoft Store, and they didn't have them. And so I went to Best Buy, and they got these Power A's, which I thought were always cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's like $70, but it's got paddles and everything. Come with an extra set of sticks. So I've got the dome stick. I've got the extended right stick. Dude, these things are pretty nice. I still want an Elite, but they're pretty nice for the meantime.
Yeah. I mean, it's all what you like, man. I mean, really, that's the way it is. Like, you got to find what's comfortable for you to play with. I mean, my mouse isn't the best mouse, but I'll take that little for $10 on Amazon. I'll take it all day, every day.
Yeah, I'll probably end up giving these to Logan. I got the 2-year warranty just in plan for that, for him to smash them, and I can go get new ones for him. Right. But I'm going to get an Elite whenever I get the opportunity, just because, I mean, they're just nasty. Dude, they had one on the rack there that you could touch and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, they're nice. They're real nice. You can adjust the tension on the sticks. Ooh. Oh no, I've watched a bunch of reviews, and there's a lot less complaints about them than the first series, the series ones.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think I'm gonna take a risk on them. I wanted the ones like Chad for a while there, but I just don't like where the triggers are.
Yeah, way up underneath, under the middle. Yeah. Yeah. I don't really know if I could do paddles to begin with.
Oh, no, reload.
The joy of toggling.
Yeah, apparently, I'm more of a, I still play Madden. I'm more of the sports simulation. I used to play some COD and stuff like that. But COD gamers actually have, like, better decision-making skills. For some reason, I read that a couple years back. You have, like, quicker decision-making skills from playing COD. So maybe I need to go back to playing COD.
I can believe that. I mean, you really do have to think on your feet quickly. I mean, some of these moves these pros pull off are insane.
Hand-eye coordination. I mean, you got to be... I mean, it's just got to be sudden. You just got to see it and just go with it.
Right. It's more instinctive than actually playing a game. At that point, though, you can tell that it's a job for some of these guys, though. I mean...
Yeah, like how much money, in that whole gaming market, how much money actually, because, I do the sports medicine. Yeah. I actually saw a couple of, well, I'm not a doctor, so I saw help assist the doctor with the patients, but, a couple of gamers came in the office and they legitimately had like what they call an injury called trigger thumb. And like they literally had medical injuries from playing these games. So I'm like, man, how much do these people actually get paid? I know it can be pretty lucrative to top elite gamers.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what your I guess your niche would be, your niche, because some of these guys, they make all their money on YouTube and they're YouTube famous. Other people don't have YouTube at all, but they're actually pro gamers. They're actually ones winning tournaments that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and stuff. And, other guys that have millions of followers on YouTube and make videos and stuff, they're not even, they might win one every once in a while when these other guys aren't in it. But, a lot of times these guys, there's studs out there that just don't have a following. Like, that's what I mean. It's hard to describe. Are you a tournament guy or are you making your money from YouTube and streaming?
Yeah, Twitch.
So, right. Watch you can watch Nick Merckx and Tim the Tapman. They play together all the time. Nick Merckx, they're both professional gamers. Right. Nick Merckx is better than Tim Tatman. Tim Tatman though is an entertainer, but Nick Merckx is become an entertainer. Like he's fun to watch.
Right. Or Doc and Z Laner. Doc is the entertainer in that group, and Z is outrageous. I mean, that's what I'm saying. A lot of times these duos and stuff, they'll team up that way. They'll get a pro guy and they'll get a gamer that is a pro gamer. I'm not going to say Doc is it. Come on, he's the 2-time, man. So it just, I don't know, but he's there for the entertainment. Definitely. You got to have that, that double attack. Somebody who can dazzle you, and they can still dazzle you. I'm not saying that, Tim and Doc and all these other people don't, play well. They're better than me. They're better than a lot of people. I mean, they're really, really good, but their job is more entertainment as opposed to just being really, really good at the game.
Oh yeah, because they're going to have all different types of viewers.
Right.
When they're streaming, you're going to have the viewers that respect the game from the pro, and then you're going to have the viewers that just kind of want to laugh. Right. So you got the best of both worlds there.
Right. But I would say the bulk of Doc's income comes from YouTube and streaming, not tournament winning. Whereas a lot of the others, there's other guys out there that they don't have an income coming from YouTube or whatnot. Their income comes from winning tournaments, $100,000, $200,000 tournament type deals. I mean, you win 2 or 3 of those a year, you have a tendency to be good. It boggles my mind thinking that, we were always told growing up you could never make money, make a living playing video games, and now, damn if there aren't people making very, very good living off of video games and commenting on video games. And
yeah, it's nothing like playing Doom in Mr. Murganowski's class.
Oh my gosh, we were talking about that the other day. We were like, who was it? I think it was like me or Ronnie or something. We convinced him that Age of Empires was historical, and that's why we were playing it. And he was like, "That's fine," because I pulled up the little bio. Each civilization had a different bio that told you some history about it. And I was like, "See, it tells you all about their civilizations and stuff, and they have their specialties." And me and Ronnie and all of us just played Age of Empires the whole time. The only one he didn't like was Quake. But remember, everybody kept installing Quake on all the computers.
Oh yeah.
They would uninstall them on all the computers. By the time you got to freaking computer lab, somebody had done reinstalled it on the computer. Oh, it was great. Hey man, those were the
times right there, man.
Well, that's what we were playing a game called Stronghold. It's an old game. I think it came out in 2002, 2003, maybe even before that. I used to play it back in the day. It's an old game. And trying to get people in to play the multiplayer, it ain't just going into a lobby and inviting your friends and party invite and all that stuff. We had to put in IP addresses and invite you physically. And even then, that didn't work. And you had to download a completely third-party software that is now hosting the lobbies for it. And I told them, I was like, this is like when we used to have to play GameSpy or download GameSpy Arcade.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to find multiplayer matches. And when Xbox Live first came out, it wasn't even Xbox Live, it was Xbox Tunnel, which was actually an app on GameSpy Arcade. So to find the original, Halo games, it would take hours of trying to find a lobby on this third-party software. And welcome to 2000 and late 90s gaming, my friend. I mean...
Oh, yeah. We know the definition of gaming.
I mean, that's what I was telling him. I was like, dude, I used to play text-based games where you had to type in the commands to make it do stuff. I had games like that. They weren't my favorite, but for that moment in time, I mean, they were pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. It's actually, right now they have in elementary schools, they actually have the kids do coding, because of STEM. We're so behind in STEM right now. That was a normal thing for us, to be able to get those actions and functions and all the different aspects of the game. You actually got to know those specific codes to to get things done in a game.
Right.
So instead of pressing button X or button A. So yeah, games just came a long way from dial up.
The other day we were laughing about that I was like, well, you remember Napster, right? And
Yeah,
they look at me and they're like, do what? I was like, Napster. Nope,
they don't know what
not
Napster
at all.
is,
I was like, what about like FrostWire or LimeWire? And she was like, oh yeah, I remember LimeWire. Okay, same concept, just LimeWire was brought in after Napster got shut down. Because it was named Napster because the myth is, right? I don't know if it's true or not, that the guy stole it from his roommate while he was taking a nap. They even put it in a movie. Like I said, it could have been total bullshit. All I know now is that everybody streams shit. You got to pay for your music. No more piracy. They've cracked down on all that crap, which I understand. People need to be paid for their work, which is still funny because even YouTube, I feel like, is the same as letting them pirate it for free. All you gotta do is go to the website and play it. It's free. I mean, I guess they do get paid because they have ads and they get views on their channel and the page, the video gets views, but...
I mean, I think most people have streaming service, but if an artist comes out with a new album, you literally can, that day, for free, go to YouTube and stream that album. But of course, they're getting paid per stream. I mean, that's one of my buddies, he's actually a music exec at Warner Brothers. And, streaming is that's how they make money. It's through streaming. So whether it's one stream or 100,000 streams, now they only may get paid like 1 to 2 cents off of that stream. And obviously the big companies are going to get paid 98 cents unless you got a deal set up like Michael Jackson or somebody. But yeah, those streams count. But yeah, if you're a nobody, then you're just a nobody. You have to find a plug. So
right, and that's why I still consider it kind of piracy because, like you said, I can go on there and listen to music the day it came out, and I didn't pay for anything. It's a free app.
Yeah, you didn't.
I didn't pay for nothing. Now YouTube's paying them because of advertising and views and stuff like that. But in some weird way, I guess they are being paid. It's not the same as an album sale. And I thought that's what all this complaining was about. Was not getting paid for your album sale numbers because they're down. And nobody's going platinum anymore.
Yeah, you don't even hear that anymore. I mean, platinum used to be a big deal. I'm pretty sure they still do to hang up in their house. Right. But, I mean, to go platinum back in the 90s was like, oh, snap.
It was
he or she went deal. Platinum?
Yeah. No one buys CDs anymore, though. It's all streamed, so I don't really know how they do it. Maybe it's digital album sales, but I mean, I pay for Apple Music. So how does that count for an album sale when I just download the songs I want onto my phone and I just paid $10 a month for us to listen to music? How are you going to count that as an album sale? You'd have to count it as maybe I downloaded it, but I only downloaded 3 out of the 12 songs. So you can't really count that as an album sale. I downloaded 3 songs. The other 9 are still yours. But yeah, did you have a good Valentine's Day, everything? We were going to do one last week, and I forgot Sunday was Valentine's Day. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. There's no such thing as Valentine's Day with kids, man.
Oh, I understand that.
I went and got a prime cut steak, specially cut tomahawk steak.
There you go.
From Publix. I heated up my grill to 600 degrees and one of the best steaks ever and just chilled out.
I understand that.
So that's what we end up doing.
We ended up ordering pizza and everybody got sick except for me and Dave.
Oh, yeah.
So it was nasty here, though. I mean, cold, windy, rainy. So we just ordered pizzas and watched movies.
Hey, man, that's the best way. I cheat every year. I just say Valentine's Day is every day. We go ahead and get that one out the way. Right. So, but yeah, that weather is nasty. Down in Texas, they got just hammered. So, Texas, they kind of have their own energy infrastructure.
Right. There's a bunch of different companies that make it up.
Yeah, it's almost like a healthcare market, which is pretty interesting. Like I knew they had their own thing going, but I didn't know the details, so I read about it just because it was on the news almost every day.
Oh yeah.
But it's almost like a healthcare market where it's like free choice electric companies, and competition is supposed to drive the prices down or at least keep them balanced. But there's residents that are getting bills for like $22,000
Right.
because they upped the price, for wholesale per, I guess, kilowatt. It went from like $9 to $1,000 per hour, which is insane. But there's literally people with like $20,000 bills, man. It's
Yep.
crazy.
And that's where, we were talking about this the other day, that sometimes having a monopoly isn't always a bad thing. I mean, it's I get it, but having to get that many individual companies to work together to get things put back together. We got one power company. We pay Georgia Power. If something goes wrong, Georgia Power fixes it. Because I was looking into that too, thinking, yeah, we have competition, but it's not like where I live now, I can get Jefferson Electric. We're not in their zone. We're not on their grid. Jefferson Electric's, Burke County, Louisville, Thompson, Rennes, that's, South Georgia, their stuff, up towards you and everything. I want to say y'all are Georgia Power as well.
Yeah, we're well, I actually have Jackson EMC, so I decided to go back to kind of a small local company. But yeah, I mean, depending on which side of the line you're on, it can either be Georgia Power, basically two companies, Georgia Power or
Right.
Jackson EMC. Jackson EMC sends me a check at the end of the year. Um, so they're a smaller company. I just kind of like the smaller company feel, but yeah, it's just interesting to see how they had that set up, you know, um, where it's either a fixed rate or a sliding rate, just like mortgages or whatever, APR variable rates, but people are getting smacked on top of the head.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
You
gas
know.
companies did it when they had
Oh
the
yeah.
the freeze here, about 10 years ago. Everybody's
Hmm.
gas bill went through the roof. It makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. You got to have some form of competition, but at the same time, you got to have some form of regulation. So people who are already in a tight spot aren't getting hemmed up even more.
Yeah, insane. And we all know those Texas homes aren't built for that type of weather. So I
Definitely
know
not that cold.
I was looking into getting a generator. I know obviously I have a portable generator, but I was getting one. I think I need to buy a switch box is what I was looking at. Um,
Are
I
you
guess to convert it over from a portable generator to
what, your
the
house?
house box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You just need to
Hmm.
get you. What you need to do is you need to get yourself like a little sub panel and a receptacle and whatnot, and feed a breaker inside that panel and just have a couple essential things to that.
Hmm.
And I definitely have somebody professionally put it in, because there's a lot of stuff you have to remember on that. Like Georgia Power and them they don't really like it, because if you forget to kill like your main breaker or anything like that with the generator running and he hooks power back up to the house, you're going to kill him because you're back feeding the
Hmm.
line.
Yeah, it's like supercharged.
Well, I mean, it's not coming from the pole.
Hmm.
So normally power comes from that pole into your house. Well, you're generating a second power supply from your house. So that line
Hmm.
going back up to the pole, if he reconnects it or touches it, it's going to be hot if you didn't turn the main breaker off to the panel, because the
Hmm.
main breaker's tied in with the service outside. The meter and all that's all connected. As long as the meter's there, you're bridging the circuit. So if you don't
Hmm.
shut your main off, then you're back feeding the pole up top, and if someone touches it, you can kill them. So that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna have someone do it, I would do it. Get somebody to do it professionally. And you're a smart
Oh
guy. I
yeah.
mean, the main
No,
thing is
I'm
just
not doing that.
remembering to turn that dang main breaker off if you ever have to do it. That's why a lot of times I'd recommend getting yourself a second sub panel and just have a couple things ran into it out of the main panel over there. your heat, if you a refrigerator, maybe 1 or 2 receptacles to run some stuff. But anything that's 220 in the house ain't really gonna work. Just kind of narrow it down to a couple receptacles so you can run space heaters, a little cook plate, things like that. You can always survive if you got to. You don't need anything that's gonna, like a Generac or anything where it's gonna run your whole house for you for days on end, hooked up to the natural gas and shit.
Yeah, that's actually what I was. So I was looking at that, and
Right.
it cost about $10,000 for the amount of square footage that I have.
Right.
And because I actually looked into it because I looked at the. I think we're going to have a hot summer this year. I don't know, but that's just me doing my due diligence as I go read when I hear there's issues.
Right.
So $7,000 to $10,000 investment. I mean, if you can actually run that Generac, I was reading 3 years on its own if it's hooked up to obviously a utility,
right,
like a gas line or something like that. Like it legitimately could run 3 years nonstop. But I'm like, I don't know if I need that for 3 days worth of misery. Like
right.
You got to think about like the whole Texas incident. Like, granted, people that died and some other type stuff, but right. I mean, it was about a week. Everybody was raising hell because my buddy lives in San Antonio. And after that week, it was like, I don't want to say it was back to normal, but everything had melted and everything was pretty much back to normal, except for people that had to file their insurance claims and all that type stuff. So, for a week, everybody was up in arms, like, what the heck is going on? Again, goes back to that instant gratification. No one knows how to survive anymore. No one knows how to prepare anymore, MREs and all that type stuff. So 2 or 3 days worth of misery is like, what the heck am I supposed to do? But literally a week later, they had power back to, I want to say, like almost 90% of Texas.
Yeah. Well, I was
within a 5-day period. So
I was amazed people were burning their furniture. I mean, I understand, like, it's
what?
cold. Yeah, you couldn't, I get it, the wood's been snowed on or it's been wet, but if you already have a fire going, you can gather enough wood and dry it next to the fire so that it can be burned. Like, why are you breaking apart your furniture? I understand. I sympathize. Man. I'm not going to act like I ain't never froze my butt off before. I don't think burning the furniture is, like, high on the list of shit. You must have really not liked that damn living room set is what that was.
I wonder how many people actually pay attention to the news where they can actually be prepared for it. I can only imagine the amount of people that just, they're just out there like robots and they don't pay attention to what's going on around them and they just got caught off guard. But they made, I think they were reporting that for almost 2 weeks they were going to get hit pretty hard, so, but again, I'm not downplaying, the actual issues that people are dealing with in Texas. I'm not saying that.
It's a natural disaster,
just,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about Texas.
Their infrastructure isn't set up for it. It's set up for 100+ degrees. They don't have the insulation like that they properly need. So their pipes busting and everything is what really hurt them. Their pipes busting and whatnot, and they rely. Their power grid is reliant of solar panels and wind panels,
and they froze. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why is the state that produces the most oil in our nation so reliant on windmills and solar panels? I mean, that's the direction that Biden wants to take us, and that right there was a proven it's not going to work. We're not set up to do it. It can't handle it yet.
Yeah,
we can't handle that.
I'm with you. Technology might just not be there yet.
Yeah, we need natural gas and stuff. I mean, that was bad.
Well, I mean, you told me that even the wind turbines contain tons of oil. I mean, you still if you have that many moving parts inside of a motor or a turbine, there has to be a petroleum-based substance present to lubricate that much moving metal.
Yes.
So fossil fuels, I don't see ever are really going to go anywhere. I mean, in some way, shape, or form, you have to have something to lubricate moving parts, unless we're going to go completely electronic, and I don't really know if that technology exists.
when the solar panels are decommissioned, or not the solar panels, but the windmills, you can't do anything with them. They cut their blades up into 3 sections and they just bury them. Well, that's
Right.
fiberglass. That's never going to break down over time. That's just going to be there forever under the dirt now.
Mm-hmm.
And then solar panels, the byproduct made from making the panels is so toxic, they don't know how to get rid of it safely. So, I mean, everything has its bad. There's bad for everything just about in
Right.
making energy.
Right. I mean, it's like oh, y'all want electric cars? We're mining the lithium ion as fast as we can, guys.
But have you seen what those mines look like?
Yeah, they're horrible.
And most of it is slaves. They're basically slaves that are
Right.
sitting there mining them.
Like blood diamond. I mean, we've all seen blood diamond. It's like that, except they're digging other precious metals instead of diamonds now. Cell phone parts, chips, boards, things like that. All that's needed in it, and yeah, that's where the money is. It's not in diamonds anymore. It's in precious metals to make chips and boards and junk like that for electronic parts.
Which I feel like is the reason we're going to Mars and stuff like that now and pulling samples from there. We're trying to just figure out any way possible to get a hold of more precious metals.
Or find another energy source.
Extraterrestrial stuff, but
I think everybody's so focused on what can happen 1,000 years from now instead of focusing on what can happen 10 years from now.
Right.
You know, with all this green energy stuff, there's equal coefficients for bad stuff as we're looking at, obviously like coal and more of our traditional energy sources that we've been using for years. So, no, it's an interesting topic. It's kind of like this, what can you do? You go for what's now, or do you go for, 1,000 years from now? I don't know.
Right.
And what do you think about it?
Well, that's what I was saying, that, I think if we are going to eventually go that route, I just don't think the technology's here yet. I'm not saying it won't be invented. I think we're going to have some technological advances, though, if we're going to move to an all, away from fossil fuels. Not just on energy itself, just on other things. I mean, those batteries and stuff, they can't be easily destroyed. I mean, there's a lot of crazy chemicals in there. And, I get it, a car is, got oil and all this other junk, but I mean, oil, it came from the earth. I mean, I don't know about dumping it right back into the damn thing, but there's got to be a way to clean it and process it and find another use for it, like, making a lubricant again, or a solvent or something of that nature. It's got to have more than one purpose.
So many people who are against oil and gas don't realize the number of products that are made from petroleum.
Right.
Oh my God, women's makeup, eyeglasses. Right. I mean, your
plastics.
Yes.
Everything. I mean, that's what I'm saying. People don't. It's in. That's what I said. That's why I said a petroleum-based substance, not gas, or it's got to exist. I mean, we rely too much on mechanical stuff. Metal on metal creates friction. That creates heat. That wears down mechanical parts. You see what I'm saying? So you have to grease them with an oil-based, like, it just, I don't, and that's what I'm saying. Unless you went in, like, completely electronic, and they've done it with, like, electronic transmissions and stuff in cars, but I don't know if we're there where we can just say everything, we're going to make everything electronic, where it's all electronic parts. And I mean, that's what
it just needs to be a mixed, my view on it is always, it just needs to be a mixed development. I don't think we're in a position where, you have some people that you talk to and they're like 100% right or 100% left. Like, there's no way that we could sustain that, obviously. Right.
Right.
Because we didn't have enough energy reserve. That's what, like you say, got Texas into trouble. But
I think, I think if they both grow together,
it needs to be a mixed development.
If they both grow together, I think that's your best bet. Like you
Correct.
said, as long as let them develop together. Because
think about it.
One will make up for the the incompetencies of the other. Where
you
this
go.
one
That's the
lacks,
key.
this one will pick up. Where this one lacks, this one will pick up.
Correct.
You can find a way to use fossil fuels to make your green equipment more efficient. How about that?
But yeah, my biggest thing is just make it affordable. Like people want to talk about all this new technology. I mean, 9 times out of 10, new technology is going to cost you almost 100 times more than traditional technology.
I can
So,
understand that.
I mean, I understand it from a developer's perspective in stocks and, we got to make money. We obviously know that money is going to be a huge driver, but, if you want carbon dioxide, CO2 levels to go down and decrease, then see if there's some way where you can actually make the technology affordable where more people could drive electric cars. Like, why are electric cars almost 100? I'm exaggerating here, but
Well, of course.
why are electric cars $100,000? Like, make it a median income household price.
Right. I get what you're saying.
And it came out with the tax deductions and stuff, which, is good. But I mean, that's just my way of seeing if you want more people to use green energy, then make it affordable. That way you don't have more people using traditional energy because it is affordable. Like, this is common sense type stuff.
Right.
So
I think you can get like a new Tesla for like $50,000. But
yeah, base model.
But the point is that, you're making is that I can take 200, 300 cash and go down to a junker yard and buy a car.
There you go.
And I know it's not going to last me as long as that Tesla will, but at $500, I could buy 70 cars before we hit the price of the Tesla. And if I got 2 years out of driving each one of those POSs, then that's, I don't know, 140 years, and I don't think I'm going to be alive that long.
Yeah, no, we definitely won't.
So you see, I see what you're saying. Like, it needs to become affordable because it's hard to make that rational argument of, I can just go buy a piece of crap car that only get me 3 years out of it, and I'll have to get a new one, but it's cheaper than buying, making a car payment on a $40,000 vehicle.
Yeah,
at least I own it. It's mine. I'm not making payments.
There you go.
Like,
I can use the other money to put in the stock market. So it's like, if you think about, you got to look at it just from the big data. I mean, you got to take like that large median sample, and most people in America that are contributing to greenhouse gases are going to be in that median range. Like, in that median range, they're not buying $70,000 cars, man. They're buying cars that's $20,000 or less. So I'm not saying you can't buy a used electric car, but I mean, most people are not going to buy used. They just want to walk to a lot, buy it and drive it off. Especially if it's like
Gs,
technology.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to actually use used technology. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just want to buy it brand new.
Yeah, it's like giving socks and underwear to Goodwill. They ain't going to take them. Yeah. Nobody wants to buy your socks and underwear. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Just my point.
And it's a good point because, like you said, you can go out for $20,000. Most people going out to buy a vehicle that you're talking about, as far as median income, is $20,000 is upper limit of what they're going to spend on a vehicle. I truly, I mean, $20,000 is a lot of money to most people, and it's and a lot of people I know that have more expensive trucks. Keegan will probably go more into this, but they a lot of times will trade in the truck while it still has a lot of value and get a good deal on another truck and replenish the lost value in the new truck, and basically perpetually it sucks because you do have a constant car payment, but you constantly have a new car, and the new car always has more value than the car you got rid of for the same price. I think am I right there, Keegan?
Well, I mean, that's right. Part of the reason I got rid of the Ford when I did, because I had so much value in it that I was like, I wanted to get rid of it before I lost value.
Right. And it just it's almost like the stock market. You just use it until you get to that value breaking point, and it's like, then I need to sell it now so I can get a deal on this truck. This truck's worth actually 10 grand more than this truck, but I'm gonna get a deal on it, so I get that, and now I have a $60,000 truck instead of a 50. Drive that until it depreciates to 50. Try to get another $60,000 truck, and each time you're upgrading the value of the truck it's just you don't ever actually, own your truck.
Yeah, it's just like it's the candlestick theory,
I got
But
you.
but yeah, man. I mean, people
I
have to
like
see
the
value in
idea.
something. The
Right.
way that I think about it is, I mean, I've done that before. I've had the, luxury car or
Oh yeah.
whatever. I mean, it was nice, but I just always think, oh, how much money can I be putting into this stock or something? I just think that way. But I know most of America, you know, they're not going to go just buy electric cars.
Right.
So,
And most
but
people, like you were saying, aren't going out and buying $100,000 automobile and driving it until the wheels fall off and holding on to it for 20 years. They're doing, drive it for 2 years and then sell it, get something better, drive it for 2 years, sell it. So, it's just a difference in what you want. If you're buying that $20,000 and under vehicle, you gonna keep it for as long as you can drive that piece of shit. You'll drive it until the wheels fall off of it. I mean, I got my truck for 10 grand and I've had it for 18 years. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking for a new truck, but I probably won't go over 20 grand. And I'm a type of person that I like to own my vehicle for a long time.
It's gonna be tough to get one for 20 grand. Truck prices, the truck market is through the roof.
Yeah.
What you
yeah,
need to wait
it's
for is
insane.
fuel prices to go back up, like
Right.
they're slowly doing now,
Yep.
and that's going to drive the truck prices, the vehicle prices back down. And car prices will go up because everybody's going to want economy cars and stuff like that.
Right.
But
That's why I
I
didn't
mean,
buy
it's,
one
it's,
last
it's
year.
the game. It's the game right now.
Yep.
Diesel was so cheap that everybody was like, "Well, yeah, I'll go pay an $80,000 truck."
Yep.
And I can afford the fuel and oil changes and stuff. But as everything goes up, it's going to reverse back.
Right. And that's why I didn't purchase last year at the beginning of the year. I wanted to wait and see with, the changing of the president and everything. I wanted to see what was going to happen economically. And I didn't want to get tied into a hefty car payment with being shut down and not being able to work and basically default on your loan and ruin your credit and all this other crap when you just need to wait a few months. My truck still runs. It does what it needed to do. We'll get through. And like you said, sooner or later, gas prices and whatnot, when they do flip, if they flip, we'll go out and look for a vehicle. Nobody buys a boat in the summer, okay? Everybody buys boats. You know what I mean? I understand.
Oh, yeah.
I understand the logic.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I saw one of the dealerships. I think it was one of them out in Waynesboro. They went on to Augusta Man stuff, the yard sale deal on Facebook, and was promoting a truck. It was a dually. They called it low miles. And now, so the thing with diesel trucks is they say, anything if it doesn't have 100,000 miles, it's not broke in yet.
Right.
But this truck has 71,000 miles. They called it low miles, and they were selling it for $60,000.
Ouch.
Which is just absolutely absurd.
Yeah, that's absurd. Considering I saw that one in North Carolina was 74,000 miles, and I think it was 22.1 or 20, right at 23,000.
But the difference is probably a gas engine.
No, it was a diesel. It was a nice truck. It was just also like 3 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough right now. The truck market is absurd.
Yep.
And I wanted to get on there and comment and be like, oh, so my truck with 95,000 miles is worth 49,000 going by your math. I mean, right. And he probably been, well, no, we'll give you like 35,000 for it. And I'm like, no. Then I want your truck for 40,000.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The truck market is just insane right now.
That's crazy.
It's stupid. It's stupid. I mean, an F-150. If you want to load it out F-150, you're paying diesel prices for it. You're going to pay 60, 70,000 for it.
Yeah. Yeah,
An F-150.
Yeah, definitely.
Nothing wrong with it. I like them. If they were cheaper, I would trade out of my diesel for an F-150. They're very nice.
Yeah.
And, I mean, but they want diesel prices for them, and I just can't. I can't fathom that.
See, that's crazy because I was just looking at a 4-door over here at Gerald Jones, or not Gerald Jones, Fairway Ford. And it's, like I said, it was about 2 or 3 months ago. It was before the first of the year when I was looking at trucks. And they had 2 4-door F-150s, and one was like 21, the other one was 24. And they had, like 60, and I think I set my cap at 75,000 miles. So both trucks were under 75,000 miles. 4-door. Yeah. The only thing I don't like about the F-150 4-door is that a lot of time they have like the 4-foot bed or the little dinky bed on the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And
you can't do much with that.
Right. I need that. I at least want a 6-foot or an 8. I almost need a full-size work truck. I mean, I need an 8-foot bed. That never has to be made.
Go up to 3/4 ton.
Right. Right. And that's why I'm probably looking more towards that route. Something along the lines of your truck.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's a reasonable size for a family. I mean, maybe not like the Brady Bunch, but, family of 4, it's perfectly reasonable. I mean, 4 doors. Everybody's got a door.
You figure we got 5, and it works great for us, even with the boys growing. The only time that it starts becoming trouble is when we want to load Zeus up, too. Then we got to use Marcy's vehicle so he can lay down in the back.
Yeah. Like you said, I'm going to wait for it to drop. Sooner or later, the bubble's going to pop, and everything will be a lot cheaper. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that gas prices are going to go up. They already are going up. We talked about this 2 weeks ago about them slowly creeping up around here. So, I mean, I know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. So
gas prices are going to continue to go up.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how much, but I do think they will. Think they will go up as compared to because I drive my old Yukon XL, basically a 28-gallon tank, and 4 years ago, man, I was driving that thing around like an economy car. Like gas was great, and prices are already starting to creep up. But who knows? I went and looked at a couple of trucks too, but you're looking at 45, 50,000.
Right.
And I mean, I'm not saying that I couldn't. Just because you can pay for it doesn't mean that you couldn't afford it. So it's one of those things. But I just always rationalize. My problem is I rationalize, well, where else could this money? It's like the Warren Buffett philosophy. Yeah. I always think like, well, where else could this money go?
Right.
Ding, stock market, Roth. I make up all these other reasons, reasons why I don't need to do it. But I'm pretty sure soon I move that way.
One piece of advice I do have is if you're not into any kind of a crypto right now, talking about things going up, watch a YouTube video on how to work Coinbase. It's really simple. Download the app, put $100 on Bitcoin, and leave it alone. From what I understand is people have been talking about Bitcoin could go anywhere from 300,000 to 500,000 by September. By what their statistics are showing, we're right at halfway through a bull run, and if the numbers are 8,000% increase at halfway through, then they're looking for another 8,000% increase, and if they do that at $50,000 a coin already, you're looking at anywhere from 300 to 500,000 by September. So if you had $100 in there, it very well could be worth like 1,000. So I'm just trying to help y'all, maybe turn $100 into $1,000, because I did that. I once it started going up, and I realized that it went to that $150 or $180 I put in was worth almost $800, and at that point I started taking notice and really getting into it again, and I'm up almost to two grand now on my, and I don't think it's going away with the depreciation and the devaluation of the dollar.
Oh, the dollar.
Yeah, the more we print, I think more people are really going to start backing their, tangible cash assets with a different kind of currency. A lot of people have bought gold and silver in the past, but because that's kind of my thing. I don't think we're going back that way. I really don't. We'll save that for next week. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think we're going back. You know, everybody laughed. Our first form of currency was bartering. You know, I do this, you do that. Then we started getting paid for work because nobody had stores, so I can't use cash. So why I need work. So you exchanged goods. Then we started having stores, so we made cash. Then people didn't have enough cash to pay for what they want, so we made credit and credit cards. Everybody said credit ain't gonna last. Now everybody has a credit card. Everybody has a debit card. That's the only thing you use now is debit. No one uses cash. So
you have to have credit.
Right. So my next step to me is crypto. Everybody's like, oh, crypto ain't gonna make it. Crypto ain't gonna make it. Okay, well, it's taken a hit. It came back. It took a hit. It's coming back. It's stronger than ever now. Then I think people are starting to buy into it. Even big companies like Tesla and supposedly Apple might be even getting in on buying it. I think that shows you that there is some validity to it, and I don't think it's going anywhere. And it very well could be the currency of the future. And if we want to be the new J.P. Morgans and the Rockefellers and the shit in like 100 years because we invested in cryptocurrency, I mean, I don't know. Michael Saylor said something really interesting. He said it was, you know, this is like a once every 1,000-year thing for humanity that you get to see something being created and be a part of it that is going to change and revolutionize the world to a point of, you know, like creating fire or inventing the gravity, like finding, like, you know what I mean, discovering gravity. Like every once in a while in someone's lifetime, there's something very grand that is discovered that is important to the advancement of who we are as a civilization. And I think this could be one of them. We'll put a pin in that for next week so that we got, you know, something to lead off on, and now we got something to look into for next week so that we have, you know, something to discuss. Take it easy, gentlemen.
Peace. Later. Peace out, Pedro.
Later, buddy.